Good morning. Hi. Earlier this morning, you can look outside, see it's wet, and earlier somebody said, "Oh, it's pouring outside." I looked, it was just drizzling. The other day somebody said, "Oh, it's cold outside." And it was only like 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which isn't cold. Chilly maybe, but cold not at all. And in fact, compared to other days the past couple of weeks, it was downright warm, especially when the sun was out. And I heard somebody complaining about how they'd had a bad day. What had happened to them? Oh, something extremely minor. And it was just one thing. How did an entire day get ruined by one minor thing? And I heard another person saying, well, when I was talking to them about the tablets that I help people to get, they were like, well, I can't really afford that. And I was like, really? You can't afford $10 and get free service and get a tablet that's worth over $100? And, when I was younger, I had a really negative outlook on things. I had a lot of problems with depression, and I was really struggling. And I remember one time I had this car that I had gotten from somebody for really cheap, and the car got totaled by a careless driver on the highway. And their insurance company called me up and said, "How much do you want?" And I was so trapped inside of my own reality, inside of my own perception of my reality, that even though the woman tried to encourage me subtly to tell her a reasonable figure for the car that had been totaled, I could only think to tell her how much my friend had asked for it. I could have asked for the Blue Book value of it, but I couldn't think of it. And this is the problem that you have, that many of us have. Sometimes it's a constant problem, sometimes it's a once in a while problem, but it affects you much more than you realize. You lose job opportunities, you lose jobs, and you lose chances to get things and to help people and to be helped by people just because of your attitude. And so what you really, really need to do is you really need to take that mindset of yours and say, you know what? Sure, I'm going through some challenges, but I'm going to remain positive, because if I don't remain positive, and I don't mean realistically like the world is all sunshine and butterflies and stuff like that. I mean positive toward the opportunities that may come your way, and keep your mind open to options and alternatives and things like that, instead of getting your mind stuck in a rut. If you could do that, you will start to have things change in your life. Really, it isn't anything changing in your life. It's you that's changing, and that's causing benefits for you. Benefits that have always been available, but because of your mindset, you couldn't see that those benefits were there. So I want you to try every morning. Don't try. Do. Just do. Trying is not the same as doing. Trying is like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. So I want you every morning, I want you to get up, put a smile on your face, say good morning to people, be cheerful, and keep your mind open to the possibilities that are around you. Because if you do that, I guarantee you things are going to improve. Because you are the one who's stopping yourself from improving your life. You, not anybody else. You can't put the blame on other people if they're no longer in control of your life. Now, if you're a minor and your parents are making your life miserable and it's them, not you, well, that's one thing, okay? But if you're out on your own and you're making bad choices and you're not thinking properly, you're thinking negatively, that's all on you, okay? So turn it around. Think positively. Get into I'm sitting here at this food pantry right now where I volunteer. And if somebody comes in and needs a tablet, I get them a tablet. I like to help out, okay? But I was sitting here and I was looking at the floor, and you can see that there's nothing on the floor now, but that's because I just swept. And the reason I swept was because it needed to be swept. Nobody asked me to do it. And when I was younger, I would have really balked at cleaning, because I just felt cleaning was such an onerous duty. Much less if I had to wash dishes. Oh my God. I was so adamantly opposed to washing dishes. They would sit for days and days and days and pile up. And then by the time I finally did do them, there were so many of them, it became a major chore. Now I can sit down not sit down, but I can go to a sink that's full of dishes with dishes on the counter next to it and just completely wipe it out without even being upset. Okay, maybe it'd be nice if it's like kind of like a hodgepodge, just kind of thrown together in the sink and on the counter without any regards to stacking or anything like that. Maybe that'd be a little bit irksome, perhaps. But I work on it. I don't complain. I don't feel negatively about it. I don't drag my feet, and I watch my son. He's just like I used to be. Every time it's time to do the dishes, well, almost every time he has a negative attitude about it. He drags it out because he's fighting himself. He's fighting his own bad mindset about washing dishes. I keep on telling him, Iregi, if you just have a positive attitude about this, don't beat yourself up about it, don't hate it or anything like that. It'll be easier to get it done. You'll get it done faster because you won't be fighting yourself the entire way. And when he listens to me, that's exactly what happens. But when he doesn't listen to me, something that should take him 30 minutes takes him an hour, 2 hours. And he'll frequently stop and sit down. Oh, I need a break. No, you don't need a break. You need to get back in the kitchen and get it done. So look, guys, gals, if your life isn't going the way you want it, it's probably because you're not changing the way you're thinking. You're not changing your attitude toward what you're facing. If you're going into it with a defeatist attitude, with an attitude of, oh, I hate this, then you are going to struggle. When I took a job at the post office, I didn't want to work for the post office. I didn't want to be driving around in a hot tin can of a vehicle, and I mean, it gets hot in there. And I didn't want to have to go walking door to door, avoiding holes in lawns and short fences that I didn't notice, and rocks and animals and bees and wasps and thorny bushes and cold and wet and wind and hot and snow and ice. I didn't want to have to do any of that stuff. I didn't want to have to carry a bag full of mail around with a whole bunch of stuff on my arm, my left arm, with magazines and letters and stuff like that. I didn't want to have to do any of that, but I needed a job. So I went into that thing with a positive attitude, okay? From the very first day, I committed myself. I said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it well. I'm going to work past all of the challenges of this job. And there are lots of people, when they go into orientation, they drop out. When they go into training after the orientation. Now, the orientation takes a week. The training takes another week. A lot of people during training, they'll drop out. And then within the first several months of being a mail carrier, a lot more people will drop out. Their attrition rate is horrendous at the post office because it's not an easy job. But I was prepared to do it. The only reason I don't do it anymore is I just couldn't handle the heat. So in conclusion, I'm sorry for dragging this out so long, but I really feel very passionate about this. It's something I still have to work at sometimes because my mind, when it was so long, was in that tunnel vision kind of state. But I'm better. I'm much better than I used to be. So please change your perception of reality. Change your mindset about reality so that you can have all the options that are truly available, so that you can be more creative, and so that you can help other people more, if that's what you want to do, or if you just help yourself, that's okay too. And if you notice somebody that's very good at finding options where there don't seem to be any, learn from that person. Like my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law, she was really good at taking an object and seeing the many other ways, I should say, that it could be used. It was incredible sometimes how she would find an alternative use, and I would never have thought of it. So maybe you can start with that. So please, if you want a better life for yourself and for the people you care about, then go ahead and start by working on this. It will be a long process. It will be frustrating sometimes, but the rewards are amazing. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.